Let's go ahead and jump right into this one because news came out last week that the Vatican is bracing for a surge of supernatural events and supernatural sightings. So what is the Vatican going to do to combat this surge of the supernatural? Well, on May 17th, the Vatican will make a live announcement to prepare guidelines on just how to deal with these supernatural events. So at this point, you're probably asking the same exact question that I'm asking. What exactly does the Vatican know where they feel they have to prepare the public for a surge of supernatural and paranormal events? What indeed is in the works? Well, I have made multiple videos on this subject for quite some time now. Matter of fact, I was even told that I am not allowed to talk about this subject anymore. I was sent a supposed threatening email by someone with horrible grammar telling me not to make this Vatican video or they were going to come after my YouTube channel. Ooh, I am just shaking in my boots. People, I am quaking. I am just quaking here. Now, I am not worried about this email because I see these comments all the time in the comment section of my videos. Minutes of Horror, stop talking about this, stop talking about that, because you're just spreading fear. And I am going to report your video to YouTube and bring your entire channel down. So like I said, I'm used to these comments. They're just now in email form. So I am just going to dismiss this email and focus back on the Vatican. Matter of fact, I just might make 2 videos on the Vatican today. But going back to the Vatican and their preparedness guidelines for the supernatural, they know exactly what's coming. They know that the public will be asking a lot of questions because what they are witnessing is not natural. So now the only explanation left will be the supernatural. Well, Minutes of Horror, how does the Vatican know this? How do they know what's coming? Well, the Vatican work hand in hand with a certain organization. They also they are actually the main funders of this organization. And that organization is called CERN. There are actually many countries that fund CERN, but it's the Vatican that holds influence over these countries and tells these countries just what to donate to CERN. Well, why? Why, Minutes of Horror? Why is the Vatican working hand in hand with CERN? One is a religious organization, the other is a scientific organization. They are not supposed to blend. Well, according to the Roman Catholic Church, they do blend together. You see, CERN and the Vatican both have the same goal. The goal is to understand the basis of the universe, how the universe originated. And to the Roman Catholic Church, this will help advance religion. This is where the lines blur between science and religion, because people who mainly follow the Abrahamic religions, they believe that God created the universe. There is nothing else that needs to be known. Scientists believe no, there was a Big Bang and there's more to explain about the origins of the universe than just God created a universe. So then why is a religious organization such as the Roman Catholic Church following a scientific organization for the answers of the origins of the universe? That does not make much sense. They should already know the answers with their text. You see, that is where the deceit lies. Billions and billions of dollars are not being spent on CERN to just smash particles together to discover what came before the Big Bang or what caused the Big Bang. No, this is what CERN scientists are telling the public, and this is what the Roman Catholic Church is also telling the public. This is the main agenda. But the truth is that they are trying to explore these other dimensions, open up these other dimensions. CERN has stated this on their own website. They stated that there are 6 other dimensions, higher dimensions and lower dimensions, and they are trying to open up these higher dimensions. The goal is not to just open up these dimensions, but also allow these entities, these higher dimensional entities, to cross over. Now, the Vatican themselves, they have their own scientists, and these scientists work in what's known as the Vatican Observatory.
Both science and religion are conversations about the universe. They're ways of learning how we interact with this universe. It's not simply a question of is there a God, but there is a God, now what do we do? It's not just a question of there are a bunch of stars, but rather, why are there stars? How do they work? How does that tell us how things work here on Earth? The interaction that I see in my own life is that religion gives me the reason to do the science.
Lucifer actually resides in the Vatican Observatory. That is right. Lucifer, or otherwise known as this giant telescope. People became shocked and worried that the Vatican has a telescope called Lucifer, so they decided to change the name to Lucy. You see, the main goal behind Lucy, well, to the public anyway, was to study astrology, the stars and the planets. But the main goal was actually to find non-human intelligence, aliens, entities. It is no surprise or shock to know that the Vatican is shady. They have many secrets, and one of the secrets is that they are not followers of Christianity whatsoever. They actually follow Saturnalia. You can see it in their adornments. You can see it in their symbology. As of late, they have been very open with their Saturnalia beliefs, and they have been slowly twisting the words of God to go along with these Saturnalia beliefs. It is believed that Saturn is Satan, and that Saturn also connects to Abaddon, which is the angel of death in the book of Revelation, and is a gateway into bringing about Armageddon. That Saturn is a dimension that holds Satan, and this is what's being observed by the Vatican Observatory, and this is where the Saturn black cube is derived from. We can go deeper into that in another video, but there is a hexagonal storm that rages continuously on Saturn's north pole. The Saturn black cube is derived from the shape one can superimpose upon this exact same image. You will find that there is a lot of black cube worship around the world. The main goal is to create a connection, a gateway, a stargate between Saturn and Earth, a portal.
Right here as well. Now, let me underscore real quick.
Yeah.
Not my belief, their belief. And I assign it to the world of mythology.
Okay.
I don't find this in scripture.
Okay.
But we do see their practice of their worship of the black sun.
Yes.
You mentioned sort of offhand there.
The virile force.
Exactly,
Right.
virile society. So
Right.
when we look at the hidden agenda, we have to look at Saturn and the worship of Saturn, again, the Vatican, but we can put it to the science now. And they believe that with the Large Hadron Collider, they can reconnect electrically in a more profound fashion than exists electrically now with Saturn. All the planets, everything communicates electrically already in the electric model of the universe. But they want to establish a profound plasma conduit, I call it,
Plasma conduit, okay.
between Earth and Saturn, because they believe they can tap into both spiritual and physical energy from
Right.
that planet for their use here on this planet, and
From
it all
Saturn.
plays in Saturn.
Right. This is not esoteric stuff. This is the new normal.
Correct.
You know,
It is.
Anybody goes to the movies, the kids are saturated with all this.
Yep.
Stanley Kubrick, as you know, was secretly trying to communicate this stuff about the Saturn satanic cult in his films, especially 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Absolutely.
That was a reference to the planet Saturn.
Yes.
And these black obelisks and alchemical magic, and he was involved in you know, I don't know if you can say good Freemasons, bad Freemasons, but he was obviously involved in some kind of occultic belief system.
Yes.
But he was very much opposed to this Saturn death cult, as
Correct.
he called it, and he tried to communicate it through symbols and language in his movies.
Yes, he did.
So, I mean, this may sound like science fiction to you, but it's not science fiction. It would have sounded like science fiction to have a cell phone and an automobile.
Well, in 2009, the Vatican had conducted a visit with CERN's Big Bang machine. A senior Vatican delegation visited the world's biggest nuclear physics laboratory, proclaiming that true faith has no problems with science. The Roman Catholic Church was represented by Cardinal Giovanni Lajolo, Vatican City's governor, as it toured the CERN facility and its 17-mile proton accelerator. It welcomed any breakthroughs physicists could provide on understanding the basis of the universe, and they said would also advance religion. Well, of course they know it's going to advance religion, because when people see what they are bringing over, what CERN is summoning over, there will be people that will turn to religion, because again, they can't explain what they will be seeing naturally. So of course, there must be a more supernatural answer. Ultimately, the Vatican's main goal is to fund CERN, to have CERN open up these dimensions, one of these dimensions connecting to Saturn, which is ultimately Abaddon. There are rumors that CERN actually sits on the temple of Apollo, which again is Abaddon the Destroyer. So whether or not Saturn is the abyss, Abaddon the dimension of Satan, CERN actually found 6 other dimensions, and they stated they want to open up and explore these other dimensions. Cardinal Lajolo said, "Scientific truths could correct some of our opinions about scripture and faith." He said nothing in science could contradict the Holy Scriptures, only interpretations, because both were rooted in God. You have to understand that there is a double meaning when they use the word God. When they say God, they're not talking about Jesus or the Holy God. What they are referring to is the God that they believe in, and that God happens to be Satan. Now get this, the same exact year, 2012, where CERN supposedly found the God particle, this is what was released in the news. Vatican, world's largest particle physics lab, plan to collaborate. The Vatican and the world's largest particle physics laboratory, CERN, plan an informal exchange of scientists. The Geneva-based laboratory would like to invite an astronomer from the Vatican Observatory to collaborate on studies concerning the origin of the universe. Ugo Amaldi, a professor of medical physics and president of Terra Foundation, which works closely with CERN, stated, "CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, is an international and European facility, and to have the Vatican Observatory send some or one of its young scientists will be something that is extremely important." Amaldi made these comments during a December 10th Vatican press conference launching the Italian language version of The Heavens Proclaim, a book about the history of the Vatican and astronomy. Now get this, the head of the Vatican Observatory, Jesuit Father Jose Funes, said during the book presentation that he hopes Gabriele Gionti, a young Vatican astronomer who will be ordained in June, will be involved in the CERN collaboration. This exchange of Vatican astrologers took place late June or July of 2012. Amaldi also stated that ideally, a Vatican collaborator would stay a year to work closely with scientists conducting experiments with CERN's Large Hadron Collider, the world's most powerful subatomic particle accelerator, which is used in experiments for trying to better understand the universe and what happened immediately after the Big Bang. So do you now get it? The Vatican is not only just funding CERN, they basically are CERN. They are working in CERN. So what just happened to be found in July of 2012, just as these Vatican astrologers were going over to CERN? Well, what happened to be found was the Higgs boson particle, or otherwise known as the God particle. This is why when we ask the question, why do these people of science name their particles gods, demons, ghosts, specters? Why do these people of science do these weird ritualistic dances and these shows, these plays? Why were they doing a quote-unquote mock sacrifice? Because these people are not actual scientists. What these people are ritualists. They are Saturnalia ritualists coming straight from the Vatican. So when the question gets asked, what does the Vatican know that they are preparing these guidelines when it comes to the supernatural? Well, again, it all connects to their experiments, what they are opening up in CERN. The CERN physicists, the scientists, the Jesuits, they told us, they opened the 4th dimensional portal. They opened higher dimensions. What crossed over was a ghost, but they labeled it as a particle so it can still appear under the guise of science. Over in Fermilab in the United States, they were very excited when they finally summoned over a demon, and they labeled this demon as a demon particle once again to give it the guise of science. CERN released official images of what they see when they open these portals, these gateways. When the Vatican talks about extraterrestrial life, aliens, what they're actually talking about are these interdimensional beings that they are finding when they cross over from these portals. In 2023 was basically the year of aliens and UFOs. Not only was the public heavily talking about UFOs and aliens, but also the government as well. The United States government, Congress. They were saying how the United States government needs to be open with the public and tell the public about UFOs and aliens, extraterrestrial life. There was also a big push to get the Vatican to open up about what they know about extraterrestrial life as well, as there were whistleblowers coming out stating that the Vatican has evidence of extraterrestrial life. Well, this same Congress that was heavily distracting the public when it came to UFOs and aliens, that all suddenly stopped when they had one meeting late in 2023. They came out of this meeting looking a little different, talking a little different. They went from extraterrestrial aliens to now interdimensional beings, and we can no longer talk about it because it's a national security issue. And well, that was that.
I think it's incredibly important to listen to the specific words that Grush uses. You know, Grush never said extraterrestrial or alien. He said interdimensional.
But one member used the term that what they were exploring here were, her phrase, interdimensional beings. Is that something that we're dealing with here potentially?
I mean, I think it's easy to be disappointed when you don't get all the information that you want, which I understand. I would have loved to receive much more information, but I think that it's reasonable to say that everyone that was in the room received probably new information. I certainly did, and think it's interesting, additional information to continue the investigation and ask more questions. So definitely have more questions than less questions.
Does that term mean anything to you?
I'm not going to get into any terms.
Where 2023 was the year of aliens and UFOs, well, 2024 just happened to be the year of demon face syndrome, CERN opening up portals to hell, people seeing demons in the skies, in the waters. That same Las Vegas family in the beginning of 2023 that got the ball rolling when it came to UFOs and aliens, well, in 2024, around the same time, suspiciously, they are now talking about demons, that this is no longer an alien from another planet, but what they saw was a demon. And now we have the Vatican, the same Vatican that funds CERN and sent their scientists over to CERN, are no longer talking about aliens and extraterrestrial life. What are they talking about? Well, they are talking about the supernatural, bracing for supernatural experiences among the public. We should have known that the Vatican, or otherwise known as CERN, play with demons. Just look at this statue that the Pope sits in front of. Upon looking at this, does this ooze any sort of light or positivity or goodness? This is supposed to be a depiction of Jesus and the resurrection. But get the dimensions of this massive sculpture. It is nearly 66 feet wide and 23 feet tall. 2 times 3 is 6. Essentially, we have here 666. In front of the Pope, the Paul IV Audience Hall, well, it looks like just one giant serpent. So again, these are nothing more than ritualists. They are Satanists. They are Saturn worshippers. They are trying to open up these portals, these gateways, these dimensions, these stargates to Saturn itself to summon over these entities, and more likely Satan itself. This is why CERN's main goal, and they came out publicly and stated their main goal is to find dark energy, dark matter, and they state that it's not proven that this dark energy resides in our universe, but they perhaps might be exploring these other universes for this dark matter. And as CERN is opening up these portals, these dimensions, things are just flooding over, and they don't want to go back. And to explain these things that are crossing over, once again, the Vatican are preparing guidelines to explain what we're seeing. No, you're not seeing demons, you're not seeing spirits, you're seeing something more natural. This is exactly like with demon face syndrome. How we had all these news and media organizations coming out in March of 2024 letting us know that demon face syndrome exists, when they knew it exists back in 2020. But they want to remind us that demon face syndrome was a real condition, a real syndrome that exists in 2024. And the purpose behind that is so they can control the narrative. When we start seeing these demons that are being flooded over by CERN, by the Vatican, they can let us know that, no, you're not seeing these real demons. There are no such thing as real demons, even though we're summoning them over. What you actually have is a syndrome, a condition. And I wouldn't be surprised one bit if demon face syndrome would be inside there preparing guidelines as well for the supernatural. In any case, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.